I got a lot of questions. A lot of people started to email me and said, hey, you know, I saw the video that you talked about where you're going to give consent to the copper to search your car, and then you're going to revoke consent using the 2018 case of the United States versus Williams. And so a lot of those questions can be answered by using your trifold properly. So you guys are familiar with 2018 United States versus Williams that says that if I can give consent, I can revoke consent. And that is an antidote to the 1925 case of Carroll versus United States, which creates the Carroll Doctrine and the exigent circumstances clause. That's a complete violation of our Fourth Amendment and complete violation of our rights. However, because it exists, we have to make sure that we recognize it, because the cops will use it against you. So right there, see that? Your trifold, your proof of insurance, your registration, everything goes right there. There's a copy of my license, my registration, and a proof of my insurance, and there's my trifold right there. That's how that works. Get your trifold up in your visor. All right? And so then what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you have that trifold in there, you got a copy of your license, your registration, and your proof of insurance. It's all right here. It's all laminated right there. Copy of my license, my registration, and my proof of insurance is all on laminated cards. So when the copper pulls me over, my hand is here, my other hand is here filming so that everything the copper's doing can be seen. And then he comes up, he says, license, registration, proof of insurance. Perfect. That's a perfect question for me, because I have my license, my registration, my proof of insurance all right there, right on top of my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. So he says license, registration, proof of insurance. I say, no problem, copper. I pull my visor down like this. Now look, the rubber band right there, I don't have to take the rubber band off. I just take the whole thing like this and I slide it out. Now it goes up here, and then it says right here, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. It says it right here. I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. License, registration, and proof of insurance. Here you go, copper. There's everything right there. Yours won't have tape on it, but mine does. And then he gets license, registration, and proof of insurance, and he says, so where are you heading? I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I'm not answering any questions. Well, where are you coming from? Officer, I've invoked my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. You see what I'm doing? I'm showing it to the camera. And then he says, well, you got any legal drugs in here? I'm not answering any questions. Well, look, do you mind if I search your car? Now, here's where it gets a little bit hairy. Because according to the 1925 Carroll Doctrine, he has the right to search my car if he believes there's exigent circumstances, that he's in hot pursuit of me, that I'm traveling with contraband, or there's going to be a loss of life if he doesn't stop me. So he can search my car by invoking the Carroll Doctrine and violate my Fourth Amendment right. But that's exactly what he can do. That's exactly what he can do. And so because I know that, and because I've been through it so many times, I now have come up with this way where you can go ahead and give him the right to search your car. It's right here. In the 2018 case of United States versus Williams, he asks you if he can search your car, and you're going to tell him, sure. You're going to say, yeah, you can search my car. Now, it's very important that when you tell him you can search your car, that he says, okay, can you step out of the car so I can search it? You say, sure, officer. And you step out of the car, and the moment he starts to search your car, you say out loud, officer, I revoke consent. I revoke consent. If I can give consent, then I can revoke consent. And that's the 2018 case of the United States versus Williams. And so then you have to say it out loud. It has to be on camera. And so then what he'll say is, okay, that's fine. Then I'm just going to call a drug dog and get a drug dog out here. And you tell him, you're welcome to call a drug dog and get a drug dog out here, but not at my expense. You are not allowed to extend the stop. The 2015 case of Rodriguez versus United States is specifically about cops extending the stop for drug dogs. So you tell him, you've told him out loud, I revoke consent, stop searching my car. He says, I'm just going to call a drug dog. You say, then you're violating my constitutional right to travel, and that's a First Amendment violation, and I'll be filing a lawsuit against you for violating my civil rights. You're combining the United States versus Williams versus Rodriguez versus United States of 2018. You're combining those two different cases so that you aren't going to get hemmed up, because just so you know, so if you've done it properly, you've invoked Williams and you've invoked Rodriguez and you did it properly, then it becomes fruit of the poisonous tree, the 1961 case of Mapp versus Ohio, that says that anything that cops find if they illegally search you or your car or your house is inadmissible in a court of law. So I'm combining Williams with Rodriguez to create this impenetrable force around myself that if they do search me, it's all on camera. Anything they find is inadmissible in court of law. Now, outside of finding a dead body in your car, you're going to beat that case. You should beat that case. Now, of course, if they have reasonable articulable suspicion to search your car, if someone, and you can trace down the confidential informant who said that, called in and said, oh yeah, I know that Marcy has drugs. And so now Marcy can be searched because they have reasonable articulable suspicion. Okay? So that's what I'm doing here right now. I wanted to share with you guys how to invoke your rights properly using Williams and using Rodriguez together. What's the first principle? Film. What's the second principle? Knowledge. What's the third principle? Using your rights properly. What's the fourth principle? Following up with litigation and suing that rat bastard cop who put you in this horrible position. Cop will say to you, oh, I'm just here to help you out. Well, if you weren't here, I wouldn't need help. Hey, I'm trying to do you a solid here. You want to do me a solid? Turn off those lights and drive away. Because if you're not here, then I'm not here. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So that's where you got to get. You got to get to right there. You got to get to right there. Because if you don't know your rights, then you don't have any rights, because the cop's going to lie to you and say, oh no, I can search your car and I can make you wait for a drug dog. No, he can't. He cannot. I mean, why is there a Supreme Court case called Rodriguez versus United States that's specifically about drug dogs? If they can search your car and extend the stop, they can't. They can't. It's against the rules. It's against the rules. There are rules. I know it doesn't seem like it, but there are. So that's the most important thing. Set yourself up for success. You're going to get pulled over. Cops are targeting people when you travel. When you travel from point A to point B, cops are targeting you. They're targeting you. I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't this way. I wish the coppers would put me out of a job. People say, get a job. This is my job. This is my full-time job. This is all I do. I don't do anything else. This is all I work on. This is it. Trying to figure out ways to make sure you can get around the prison state, police state, death state. That's what I'm trying to help you do. So on this particular little mini lecture, I was teaching you guys how to combine Rodriguez with Williams. Rodriguez of 2015, Williams of 2018. How to give consent to the cop so that he can't take away your Fourth Amendment right. So then you revoke consent. I revoke consent. You can no longer search my car. If he continues to search your car after you've given him permission and then taken permission away, then he's violating your civil rights. And anything he finds is fruit of the poisonous tree. Mapp versus Ohio, 1961. Isn't it crazy that we have a Fourth Amendment right to unreasonable searches and seizures are illegal? But then the 1925 case of Carroll versus United States allows them to search our car based on their feelings of whether or not the situation is urgent or exigent. And so I'm teaching you guys today how to beat that, how to go around that. Go to my website, DeleteLawz.com. Everybody get over to my website, DeleteLawz.com, Delete Lawz with a Z. Get yourself an indestructible trifold for $30 or get the digital trifold, and always invoke your rights. Sometimes you have to give away your rights by allowing them to search for 5 seconds and then revoke the right to search. I retain my rights back. So I want to give you guys the best tools I can possibly give you. The best tools I can possibly give you. And that's what I do with this trifold. All right, listen, I hate to go, but there's with a couple thousand people here, but I gotta go. I got stuff I gotta get done today. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later, Gators.